There are a ton of guitars out there for beginners. Not only can it get a bit overwhelming deciding what to go for, but a whole lot of them are effectively glorified firewood. In this video, I'm going to recommend a guitar that you probably would never even think of going for, but one that I reckon you totally should. Let's jump into the video. Could there be a more cliched and overused segue? I don't think so. Hello and welcome to the channel. This is Guitar with Bob, the home of all things related to guitar here on YouTube. From music lessons and gear reviews to backing tracks and the latest guitar challenges, you'll find it here. So sit tight, grab yourself a guitar and let's play. Oh, and if you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing, lest I fall into the gaping abyss, never to be seen of or heard from on any mobile or desktop device ever again. I refer, of course, to the YouTube algorithm. I mean, not to over dramatize or anything, but yeah, the fear is real. Okay, let's move on. This guitar right here is the Thomann Classica Flamenco 1F. Beautiful, isn't it? Well, actually, it's the box of the Thomann Classica Flamenco 1F. The guitar's inside, strangely enough. Before I get to the actual unboxing, however, there's a problem that I need to mention. Right off the bat, the name of the guitar is a little, how do I put this nicely? It's dense. Let's break it down first, shall we? Thomann, foreign brand name, I get that. Classica, what language is that? Flamenco, yikes, I was just thinking of learning Wonderwall. And 1F, that's pretty neutral, right? Unless, of course, you have some sort of alphanumeric phobia. That'd be weird. Yeah, I mean, I'll assume you don't. That'd be really weird. You know, how about we just forget about the name, actually? Or we could call it the Thomann Lucía. That sounds nice, right? Yeah, the Thomann Lucía. Okay, time to unbox. I should note, any ASMR related enjoyment of this unboxing is purely incidental. And there you have it. So what are my impressions of this guitar? Well, the first one is pretty easy to show you guys. It's that. You have to be very careful when you're playing this. You need to anchor your hand here, or otherwise the weight of the neck will pull it downwards and it could damage the instrument, so be very careful of that. In the biz, that's called neck dive. So moving from biz to buzz. There are two types of buzz in the guitar world. We have good buzz and we have bad buzz. Just like Dublin Irish slang, you want to go for the good buzz and avoid the bad buzz. Let me show you what they mean. The first one is good buzz. That's just one note. The easiest way to explain it is that it resonates in a positively buzz-like sound. Don't you just feel happier listening to that? Hopefully you get the idea there. Basically, it's that it resonates in a particular way. A buzziness, if you like. That's the best way I can explain it. Now, there's also bad buzz, guys, and bad buzz is not good crack at all. If you're Irish, you're going to understand what I mean by that. If you're not, you probably won't. So, bad buzz sounds like this. Hopefully the microphone picks that up. Let me just compare two notes to show you guys the difference. So one is perfectly clear, and one has, again, that buzz, that added sound that's not very desirable. Good buzz, desirable. Bad buzz, not desirable. Simple enough. This, thankfully, is an easy fix, right? There's only 4 notes, or 4 frets, I should say, I've identified in this guitar that have that bad buzz. I feel that strong Dublin accent coming out of me when I say that, or that urge to use a Dublin accent. you can go to a guitar store and get that fixed without any major issues. See if they can modify it and make it a bit easier to play by tweaking little things about the guitar. This is a very good thing to do, and you should do it if you get this guitar or you get another one. I wouldn't worry too much about the fact that this guitar has bad buzz. It sounds good, doesn't it? It's quite addictive to play, I can tell you. And that's always a good sign for a guitar. Now, as I was saying, I wouldn't worry too much about the guitar buzz, the bad buzz with these 4 frets, because it's quite likely that you will get a perfect guitar. And how do I know that? Breaking news. Well, this has been a most authentic unboxing experience. Of course it has, guys. This is, in fact, the second Thomann Lucía I've ever owned. What happened to the music? Anyway, I was taking a trip a few weeks ago. I didn't want the hassle of traveling with a guitar, so I did some research, came across this bad boy, thought it'd be a good solution. You know what? It totally was. Here's 2 things I learned from that experience. Getting 1. This guitar is good not only for beginners, but for advanced learners who want a potentially disposable guitar. You don't have to literally throw it away. You could give it to charity. You could give it to a friend for safekeeping. That's what I did personally with my Thomann Lucía I. Shout out to you, John. And 2, sometimes in life, there's bad buzz, guys. Don't worry about it so much. Just know that it's nothing that a quick trip to your local guitar store can't fix. Looking at the finer details, what are the key things to know about the Thomann Lucía? We could talk about the various different woods that make up this guitar, if it's more classical or flamenco in style. But ultimately, as a beginner, it comes down to 2 things: how it sounds and how it feels. Guitarists often call this the playability. Unfortunately, if you go for a guitar online, you can't really test either of these out. Big surprise though, this video isn't some sort of expose on why you shouldn't buy a guitar online. I mean, I'm sure you've already figured that out. You are, after all, watching this video online. Personally, I've bought 3 of the most expensive guitars I've ever owned online, including a Gibson Les Paul, which you'll probably see in another video. And yeah, I can't say I've ever regretted buying them. While one of those beauties was sadly lost, that tear-jerker of a tale is to be told another time. I'm too emotional right now. For now though, the point is that if you do your research, you should get a good idea of what you're getting. And depending on your location, you could well get the best deal in terms of quality and price online. It's that simple. Now that we know 2 of the most important things to look out for, how does this guitar sound and feel? Before I play around a little bit to give you a better idea of how it sounds, let's talk about the playability. The action on this guitar, that's the distance between the strings and the fretboard, by the way, is nice and low, which makes it very easy to play. And so it's quite beginner friendly right out of the box. Well, and that plasticky thing. Of course, you will need to tune it first. The action is pretty important, however, as a lot of beginner guitars are actually a nightmare to play. And believe me, you don't need any unnecessary and easily avoidable hurdles when you're starting out. Beyond that, the neck feels good to me and it plays smoothly all around. It'd be nice if there were markers on the 9th and 12th frets. These are white circular dots on the side of the fretboard here, which act as visual markers. So if my hand is here, for example, I can see that I'm in the 3rd fret. If I'm up here, I'm in 5th position, and so on. But seeing as you could add fret marker stickers yourself very easily, and you probably won't be playing around that part of the guitar anyway, it's nothing to be concerned about. One other thing, I can't say it's the best at staying in tune. I find myself having to tune it frequently enough. But remember, the guitar, at least at the time of filming, is around €140 or 170 US dollars. The finest guitars in the world go out of tune. It shouldn't come as much of a surprise that beginner guitars tend to go out of tune a lot more. I would just take a positive outlook in this sense and see it as a chance to refine your tuning skills. And it's best to do this sooner rather than later in order to develop your ear. And perhaps more importantly, for the benefit of everyone within earshot of your playing. It's also worth changing the strings. It's impossible to know how long these have been on the guitar, and judging by how quickly they've already started to deteriorate with relatively little playtime, I'd say it's been quite a while. Next, let's talk sound. To me, even though the strings need replacing, overall the tone is bright, energetic, and for an entry-level guitar, it has a surprisingly broad dynamic range. But now, you be the judge. Now then, for all you semantic nitpickers out there, and I know you're out there, you may have gotten this far with the title of my video with a relative sense of, it is the best. Well, yes, it could be the best, and I believe this is the best guitar for many beginners. It has nylon strings, so it's less painful on your fingers when you play. There's a nice distance between the strings, which will help to isolate where your fingers need to be, so you don't accidentally get muted strings. Sounds a bit like that. That's super common when starting out. And the way the neck is shaped, the hand naturally sort of falls down into a good position where the thumb should be in the middle of the neck here. Otherwise, it's very hard to play. And I think this will make intuitive sense when you hold this guitar in your hands. Even still, some learners will much prefer the sound of a steel string acoustic guitar, like those bad boys over there. And they won't be bothered about enduring the pain at the beginning. Others with smaller hands would probably be better suited to an electric guitar because the neck on this is actually quite wide and maybe it would be just too much of a stretch. I would still call this guitar the best, but then again, I'm biased. I started on a nylon string. It was nowhere near as good as this, I can tell you. But I've grown fond of Lucía. It's actually the first guitar I've ever named. Before my guitar sentimentally weeps at this inanimate bond I've formed with this recently opened piece of steel, plastic and wood, time for a question of the day. What other guitars are you considering? Are you thinking of going for nylon or steel, acoustic or electric? Post your response in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. If you're still unsure about what guitar is best for you, I'd recommend checking out the video suggestions at the end of this video. There is, however, one thing you need to know first. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, especially if you think Thomann Lucía is a better name than Thomann Classica Flamenco 1F. Because you never know, with enough likes, they may even change it. I mean, look, I don't want to get your hopes up. They probably won't. And there's nothing I can do. I'm not sponsored by Thomann in any way. Really, the fate of this guitar is up to you. Okay, I mean, if you're pushing me up against the wall to come up with ideas to help, I suppose you'd have to share this video with all your friends, comment, subscribe, turn on the guitarification bell. Very Jack Black of me. Use my refer link in the description of this video. Actually buy the guitar, write a review on the Thomann website referring to my video and ever so subtly intimate a change of name. But you know, that's just off the top of my head. In all seriousness, whatever happens on your guitar journey, it really doesn't matter what you start with. Trying not to cringe as I end that sentence with the preposition. As corny as it may sound, maybe it's the first guitar that's the best. Later on down the road, you become the aficionado or aficionada of everything from string gauge to ergonomics and neck profiles to finer aesthetic preferences. For now though, it's so exciting because you get to start. You've been watching Guitar with Bob, but now guys, it's playtime. See you in the next one.